Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. It is Throwback Thursday, so I have grabbed the Coming Home stamp set and the Home Together dies off my retired shelf. I've used the greeting from a current set, the Merry Wishes here, and I've used the new Whimsical Woodlands embossing folder. I don't know if you can see the detail there. I have already embossed the piece for the back, so I'm hoping that you can see the detail in that. So what I did is I cut a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 piece here. So it's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I do have that tagged down, so I'll just put that down there so you can see it. Piece of basic white that I ran through the embossing folder. I've got it matted with a Blushing Bride 5 1/4 by 4 on a standard card base, and I've done it as a tent fold. You could do it as a side opening landscape card as well. So what you'll need for this is some basic white that you can cut this piece out of. That's this die here that I used for the base, and then the stamps and dies for the houses and the trees and the wreath. What I did, the house is 2 separate stamps like this. And I just stamped them in smoky slate and then colored them in. And then I overlapped them so it looks like the house has a porch on it. The colors I used here are soft seafoam, the dark of the So Saffron. Then I used the Flirty Flamingo, light and dark, and this one is the Ivory Stampin' Blends to color in. You can color these however you want. I wanted all the windows to be lit up, and the wreath is actually over a window on the stamp, so that's why it's lit up. And what I did is I took my blends and I colored in the trees once I'd cut them out. I have all the pieces already cut out here. So the only piece I haven't cut out for you is the base piece, because I wanted to show you how to do that. So I'm just going to put everything off to the side, and I'm going to pull my die plate in. I'm just going to make sure that you can see. So this piece of paper is actually cut to 3 7/8. It's a couple inches high, doesn't need to be too big. It depends on what the depth, how much do you want at the bottom of the card. I wanted the big forest behind, so I've done everything relatively small in the foreground here. So whatever is under this will be on your card. So I'm just going to place this down. I know I've got room for the trees on both sides, and I want the trees to be standing up, so you get the swoop. I'm just going to grab some sticky notes, and I'm going to stick this down. So I'm making sure I've actually got the sticking it down. Okay, so because I want that held in place. And then I'm going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss as soon as I find my top plate, which I've hidden underneath something else. So we're just going to run this through the machine, and then we can stamp it. And I'm using a photopolymer stamp so I can see through it. If the greeting I wanted to use was on a cling stamp, then I would need to stamp this first and then place everything, just so that I got it correct. All right, so that's our waste piece, and this is our leftover piece. So let's just pop that in there like that. Now I need to take my Blushing Bride and the greeting, Merry Wishes, and you're just going to pop this down. And I'm sorry, my head's going to get in the frame because I need to make sure I'm lined up. So there we go. We've got the Merry Wishes stamped there. So I'll close up the ink pad. And now we basically just need to build the card. I did all the coloring beforehand because It's like watching paint dry to watch a video of somebody coloring, especially if if they're very good with the colors, there are some demonstrators who are very artistic with them and they can make it look fantastic. Those ones I'd watch all day long. I am not so clever with the colors, so I don't expect you to enjoy watching me color. So quite often I will do all the coloring in to start with. This piece is flat mounted. I am going to go all the way around the edge because it's fairly detailed around the edges and I don't want them to lift. So I'm just going to go all the way around like this. Make sure I've got this the right way up. And then just place this in. It's very narrow margin. So there we go. Just pop that down like that. I'm going to move the dies out of the way just so I can make sure that I'm in the frame. I just wanted you to be able to see them. So now we need to build the card. And we need our base. This one I did, it was a little skinny, a little thin, and I put the dimensionals right underneath. So it was a little hard to fit the pieces in. One of the things I am going to do right now is I'm going to color in the trees. Without the trees colored in, it seemed just a little bit kind of dark to me. So I'm coloring in the trees and I'm just using the dark soft sea foam just to create a little bit of shadow, and then I'll come in with the light one and just color it in. I did this on the card after I had already mounted it. So it was quite a challenge to do it right on the card. So I'm doing it on my work surface, which I can wipe clean. So I'm just making sure I've got that in. So you do get to watch me color a little bit, but that's okay. It's not everything. So again, with the houses, you can choose whatever colors you like. If you prefer blue, if you want to do a more traditional red and green card, you can use like yellows and browns and that on the houses. And then more red tones on it if you want. Okay, I'm going to take the ivory and I'm just going to do some stems or trunks on these trees. And then we can dimensionalize it. There we go. So let's just pop some dimensionals on this. I'm going to put them really close to the bottom because I want to be able to tuck things inside it. And it's going along the bottom edge of the card. So what we can do is actually maybe just put just one of the small dimensionals on the larger of the trees, and that way it helps them not get bent over in the envelope or if somebody is looking at the card. So we're just going to give that a little tug there. These dimensionals sometimes don't like to stick and they come off, so I just hold it down with my thumbnail. There we go. So we're going to peel all those off. We're going to drop it on the surface first. Peel all those off like that. There we go. Excellent. So I've now bent my trees, but that's okay. So I'm going to place this right at the bottom. It should line up because it was cut to 3 7/8 like everything else. So then we just tap our trees down like that. And I want to build the house now. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of the smaller house like this. And then I'm going to, so you'll notice I didn't color the door on this one. That's because this is going to fit right over top. And I'm putting it a little offset because perspective wise it would look closer. Not such a big deal if you don't want to tuck it right underneath. That's why I kind of tucked it over here. So this is now going to be flat mounted like this. You could put these in the background and cut more swirls. There's another die that you can use to cut swirls. Oh, that looks kind of neat. Wonder if we should do that rather than tucking it in behind. We could do that. Okay, so let's just create on the fly here. So now we've got the tree really the house really 3D'd because it's coming out. The trees that I cut out with the dies are flat mounted, and they are just tucked in like that. And this tree, maybe instead of tucking it in, we will put it out front as well, up against the house like that. Okay, so let's just tuck that like that, and there we go. There is our, oh, no, it's not. Sorry. You're all sitting there going, the wreath. I haven't put the wreath on yet. But this is a Throwback Thursday card using the Coming Home dies, or Coming Home set with the Home Together dies, Greeting from Window Wishes, and a new embossing folder called Whimsical Woodland. It's really, really beautiful. So thank you so much for watching, and we will create together again soon.